Hi, Catherine Clark here. Thank you for requesting the video. Today I'm going to give you a high-level overview of our signature plan. After you watch the video, if you have any questions and or would like a quote, feel free to reach out. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, since long before the Affordable Care Act. At that time, I represented all of the companies, the Blue Cross, United Health that you're familiar with, as well as some of the companies that were not so popular back then, they just weren't that well known. When those bigger companies jumped on that Affordable Care Act bandwagon, I just elected to continue to represent the other companies because I believed it was a better value. Well, a lot of them have gone out of business. A few of them are still around. Our signature plan comes from one of these companies. And what I want to tell you is that they've been around for 75 years. They're based in Houston, Texas. They're regulated by the Department of Insurance, and they've just gotten better and better. Rates remain stable. You know, I sell in all but 6 states in the United States. I have thousands of people on this particular plan. I'm on this plan. My kiddos are on this plan. My grandkids are on this plan. So it's you know, it's just important to know that it's not like a brand new company that just popped up. You know, they're tried and true, if you will. So many years ago, before major medical, there were plans that were popular called association plans, indemnity plans, hospitalization plans, and those were really pretty good back in the day. And there were always a couple good ones out there, but what happened is, you know, they got a little watered down because of the major medical, and then you had situations where agents might not have represented it, so they kind of represented it appropriately, so they kind of got a bad rap. So I tell you that because this plan I'm going to tell you about is kind of a hybrid of all, and it's like they've taken the best of both worlds from all the plans and put it together. So there's a few extra features about this plan that you'll want to know first. Number one, it covers you 24/7 on and off the job. Your current plan does not. It pays in addition to any other insurance, not as a secondary. So here's one of many examples. If you have a kiddo that plays on a sports team, that sports team usually has some sort of insurance. So if you had to file a claim with that sports team, you could and get reimbursed or have them pay for it, then you could turn around and file the claim with your insurance company and they would also pay it. The difference is they'd pay it directly to you. So it pays in addition to. You can choose any doctor. Once you're on the plan, you're not going to be kicked off. You don't have to worry about renewing it every year or anything like that. This plan provides for 24/7 access to Teladoc at no additional charge, which saves a lot of time and money. My favorite feature is the CARES Group. They have a partnership with the CARES Group. They're out of Austin. They've been around since the 80s, and they're basically patient advocates. So what they do for us is, in the unlikely event that we should have a medical bill of $2,500 or more, they will go in and negotiate it down on our behalf. So it's kind of like they keep the doctors and the hospitals honest, if you will. They don't make any guarantees, of course. No one can, but they've been around since the 80s, and so far their average is 70%. And I can tell you that I've witnessed that with 2 of my clients over the last few years. So that's really a great benefit to have. So here's the power of the plan. This is really important that you get this part. We have a high-end defined benefit plan with a PPO network that is consumer owned. So that means you and I own this network. So what that means to us is that we get the PPO repricing, or the wholesale pricing, if you will, however you would like to look at it. So here's an example how that works. On doctors and hospitals, we get a 40 to 60% repricing, and on labs and diagnostics, we get a 70 to 80% repricing. The average nationwide doctor visit is $150. When you hand them your card, they have to reprice it 40 to 60% because we're going to get the discount as opposed to the insurance company or the PPO repricing. You don't know what their contract is with the network. It could be 50.2, it could be 51.3. But let's just say that you get the 40% PPO repricing. Now that takes that $150 doctor visit to $90. Well, your plan pays $160 for doctor visits. So it's going to pay them their $90. It's going to send the rest to you. It is going to send you the balance because it's a defined benefit plan, so the plan pays what the plan pays regardless of the price. The power is the fact that it's accompanied with that we kind of get the wholesale price, if you will. So let's take an MRI as another example. Most people know that MRIs can be very expensive. I've seen them in upwards of $3,000. What most people don't know is that an MRI should cost about $400, $500 on the outside. So when the doctor sends you down to a particular imaging place to get an MRI, he's getting a kickback on that. Again, because we own the network, we get the advantage. This is another area the Caris Group can help us. You can contact them and let them know you need an MRI. They will send you a list of providers in your area that are going to charge the $400. They'll even make the appointment for you. Your plan pays $700 for an MRI. So it's going to pay them the $400 and it's going to send you the balance because the plan pays what the plan pays regardless of the price. So now that you know how that works with the doctor's visit, here's how it works with outpatient surgery. With this plan, there's no deductible for an outpatient surgery. That's actually huge because most surgeries are done outpatient these days. So I'm going to give you an example of mine. I had eye surgery a couple years ago now, and my PPO repricing was $795, but my plan paid $1,995. The facility fee was $1,250 and the plan paid $2,250. And then I did a cash pay to my anesthesiologist for $250 and my plan reimbursed me $498. So my plan paid $4,700 approximately for a $2,200 surgery. So yes, I pocketed $2,500, hence health and income protection. So that's huge. Now inpatient, if you were to be admitted to the hospital in an unlikely event, there's not a deductible, but there is a copay. So the difference is you don't have to pay it up front. I know you all have heard of people who have struggled with that. So kind of an oversimplification is you have a $2,400 copay. It kind of goes on your bill. It gets added to your bill. And the reason being is that as your benefits pay out, it could likely eat up that $2,400, just like with my outpatient surgery. So effectively, you don't have a deductible because there's really a good chance of that. But even if it doesn't eat up the whole $2,400, you still don't have to pay it up front. And it's still better than a $5,000 deductible. And it's not going to hold up any procedures or anything that you need to get. So far you can see that you get to use this plan right away. Now it does have some preventive care. The preventive care you do have to wait 60 days for. You have $250 towards your annual physical. You have $250 towards your annual mammogram and $600 towards your colonoscopy. And in the fourth year, that jumps to $1,200. And also keep in mind that you still get the PPO repricing. So like when I go to my annual physical, it's like $215, $225 if I remember correctly. So I make out in that case. The prescription, and on the preventive part, you do have to wait 60 days to use that. That's the only part that you have to wait for. On the prescription, that's the only part of the plan that does require reimbursement. It reimburses you $20 for generic and $40 for brand names. Well, $250, the most popular drugs are under $10, so you're doing fine. If you have more prescriptions and you're more concerned about that, we can talk about it. I do have a copay prescription card that's completely separate than this, but this is just for this plan. Okay, so over and above your medical, you have some additional coverage. You have an additional $4,000 per accident, up to an additional $10,000 for an ambulance, air or ground, and you get paid $300 a day if you're hospitalized for an accident. There's even an extra $100,000 in life insurance for an accident on this plan. This is important because accidents, actually more people end up in the hospital for accidents than cancer, stroke, and heart attack put together. Again, that's over and above your medical coverage. The one other part of this plan is that you have access to $100,000 in critical illness insurance. Critical illness insurance is a lump sum cash of money that you receive should you be diagnosed with cancer, stroke, heart attack, renal failure, major organ transplant, that sort of thing. That's actually where people end up in trouble, not because they don't have health insurance, but because they can't work and can't pay their bills. You see the GoFundMe pages go up when people have that situation. So here's how it works. God forbid that you should be diagnosed with cancer, you would receive a check for $50,000. And this is internal cancer. 6 years later, if you get a stroke or heart attack, or 6 months later, then you receive another $50,000. So the whole idea here is to cover you kind of 360 degrees, if you will. So this is, again, is a high-level overview, but hopefully it's saved you some time. I know it allows me to talk to more than one person at a time. And if you'll just reach out, I'll be happy to give you a quote, answer any questions, and delve into any further details that may be necessary for your particular situation. So thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.